Putin, a longtime U.S. adversary, of course, is raising some questions about Trump's game plan. Trump's latest shout-out came after Putin decided not to retaliate against the U.S. for sanctions that Obama unveiled to punish Russia for the meddling in U.S. election. Well, Trump tweeting this, "Great move on delay v. Putin. I always knew he was very smart." So let's talk it over with political commentator Ben Ferguson, host of The Ben Ferguson Show, and Lauren Duca, weekend editor of Teen Vogue. Great to see you both. Really appreciate it here. So, Lauren, these are your words from the op-ed titled, "Donald Trump is Gaslighting America." Let's just read a bit of it. It says that the CIA officially determined that Russia intervened in our election, and President-elect Donald Trump dismissed the story as if it were a piece of fake news. At the hands of Trump, facts have become interchangeable with opinions, blinding us into arguing amongst ourselves as our very reality is called into question. I'll start off with you, Ben. You know, reaction to that assessment here that our reality is being called into question.
I don't think reality is being called into question here. I think the reality is Barack Obama has done nothing for the last 8 years to stop Russia when they were doing things far worse than hacking. When it comes to the genocide that was happening in Syria, when it comes to the gassing of the people in Syria and Russia helping them do this. We also know that Russia's been hacking into and trying to hack into our systems for multiple elections, and we have a president that has done absolutely nothing. So the big question now is, why is he doing this? Is he doing this to box Donald Trump into a corner? If you can allow Russia to go into Crimea and put at risk Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, and our allies that are right there having to deal with Russia for year after year, and the confrontations coming at Putin, you do nothing at all when that was going on, and now all of a sudden you throw out diplomats days before you're to leave office. I'm wondering if this is actually done more to hurt Donald Trump than it was to affect Vladimir Putin or Russia at all, because this is more than he's done the last 8 years, and it's kind of questionable and embarrassing.
Ben, in light of the horrible things that you say that Putin has done, what do you make of Trump's praise that he's lavished on him in the weeks prior?
Well, I think his praise is a point that he wants to come in here and maybe have an actual reset that is successful with Russia. We had a failed reset under Obama.
You think he's being sincere? I mean, are you saying this is just flattery?
Well, I think you have two master chess players here, and they're going to try to figure each other out. But the fact is Donald Trump is going to come in and have a reset with Russia and have a real conversation. And I think there's nothing wrong with him coming in, looking at the facts, and then saying, this is a new day with America. I'm now the president. It's going to be very different. But to say that it's smart for Vladimir Putin to not just go tit for tat with Obama while you're counting down a 20-day countdown clock, I think is actually an appropriate statement to make. Start anew January the 20th, and then let's see where we go from there.
Lauren, let's talk about Trump's dismissal of the CIA report on Russian meddling, turning it into a partisan issue, as you believe. Do you believe that the Russian hacking in some ways played a part in Hillary Clinton losing the election?
Well, I think what I'd like to address first, if it's all right, is what I mean by our reality being called into question is his outright dismissal of the CIA assessment. I don't think we have the full story there. My personal hope is that there will be a congressional probe, and I think that we need to treat the story with intense skepticism. That said, for any American leader, Russian interference with the bedrock of our democracy should be unacceptable, and the cavalierity with which he dismissed the allegations sort of based on his own assumptions is upsetting to me, and I think should be upsetting to the American people regardless of what side you're on. I don't know that I'm qualified to... I don't know that I'm qualified to speculate on whether Russia interfered enough to swing the election to Trump. That is, something that has been floated by the press. But while we're still accruing the full details of this story, it's something that needs to be taken very seriously on both sides of the aisle and shouldn't be treated as a partisan issue.
And Lauren, do you think that part, Lauren, just to follow up on that, do you think that part of the not seeing the reality or not acknowledging the reality is Trump's praise for Putin? Do you think that is something strategic, or do you think that is something sincere that he truly believes about the Russian leader?
Sure. I think his praise for Putin certainly complicates the issue, and then also the proposed idea that he's the beneficiary of their interference sort of calls into question his rejection of this, where it seems as though he, with his statement in response to the CIA assessment, he's protecting himself before he's protecting the American people. The CIA works for the American people, and Donald Trump is about to work for the American people. So, you know, we could sit here and talk about whether that's the reason Hillary lost or what Obama has done wrong, but regardless, this is something that Donald Trump and his team should be taking extremely, extremely seriously.
I want to read President-elect Trump's New Year's Eve greeting here. It says, "Happy New Year to all, including to my many enemies and those who have had fought me and lost so badly that they just don't know what to do. Love." Ben, what does this mean?
Well, I think his point is it's a new year, and we're going to have a new year, and I hope it's a happy one. And for all the people that are trying to tear me down, guess what? Still love you anyway. Let's move forward. But let me say one other thing real quick that was just said by your guest there about him being skeptical of the information. The biggest part that Donald Trump was skeptical about in the information that was coming out was the intent of the hack. There have been many that have been pontificating on this issue, saying that somehow that this hack was going to happen so they could sway the election towards Donald Trump. There is no information to back
Donald
that
Trump's
up at
team,
this point.
Donald Trump's team directly undermines the...
Let me finish. What he said was the CIA has also not said that Vladimir Putin or Russia was trying to swing the election one way or the other. What we know is they very well, absolutely, they were hacking in to find out information. There's a good chance that Russia was hacking into Hillary Clinton and the DNC because she was leading in the polls and they were trying to hedge their bets to find out information about Hillary Clinton. And so when he says he's skeptical about the reason they were hacking, that is his point that he was making there. And I think the readers of Teen Vogue should actually hear that side of the conversation.
Lauren,
what
go
do you
ahead.
think? I guess I don't understand what you think I'm missing. Do you not think that Donald Trump should take the potential of Russian interference in the bedrock of American democracy seriously before we have the full picture?
I think he does take it seriously, and I think the point is
his statement outright undermined the assessment.
No, it did not undermine the assessment. What it did was it said that the false pretense that Russia's hack was deliberately done to sway the election is absolutely false. You don't know why Russia was hacking.
He dismissed
and also,
the CIA's ability to make this statement. He, in fact, said these are the same people that accused Saddam Hussein of having weapons of mass destruction. I don't know if you're familiar with this statement, but he did undermine the CIA.
I'm very familiar with that, first off. And second of all, I think what you need to understand is the context of what this conversation was about. And what Donald Trump was saying about this hack is everyone that puts out there the information that there was somehow hacking going on solely to sway the election has not been backed up or corroborated by the CIA and or the FBI. So when he says, I'm going to look at my assessment, get my team around it, and see what their intent may have been, I think that's actually a smart response instead of a knee-jerk reaction implying that you know something that is in fact not true.
Go ahead, Lauren. You can wrap it here.
Yeah, it seems to me that it's a mode of self-preservation that we're even seeing with the tweet we just showed of the idea of enemies, of people who are against Donald Trump. I think he needs to reorient himself to realize that he's now about to be working for the American people. The CIA works for the American people, and this is not about winners and losers any longer.
I want to wrap it there. We will get more information. We will learn more from these hearings Senator McCain has called for in the coming weeks. And, of course, they are looking at the bigger picture here, not whether or not this impacted the election, but the mere fact that the intelligence has revealed that certainly they're confident that the intelligence has revealed that Russia was, in fact, behind that hacking. Lauren Duca, Ben Ferguson, thank you so much. Have a good holiday. Appreciate that.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Woo! New York's midnight.